I was the one with the health concerns. I had been battling psoriatic arthritis for about 3 years and was on a protocol of prescriptive drugs. And I had never had to take prescriptive drugs on a daily or weekly or monthly basis before in my life. So it was something new that I didn't like. And I didn't like the side effects that the medicine kept listing that could potentially happen later in my life. And I thought, to take the medicine for the rest of my life was not the direction I wanted to continue to go. And so I found you and we were doing our exploratory call. And of course, you asked that my partner, just Curtis, my husband, would be on the call with me.
I love my wife, obviously. So I wanted to be supportive and join her on this journey. I also had some issues, a family history of diabetes, and had already been diagnosed pre-diabetes and was battling some IBS issues and also some very persistent weight in the midsection that was difficult to remove. And I needed help. And I thought, what a better opportunity to ride her coattails and take care of my issues well. So I jumped on board.
To be in this together has really given us another something to do as a couple, a commonality, a shared goal. And I think that can always strengthen your marriage or your partnership when you have that. We're spending more time together in the kitchen and planning and talking about what we're going to eat. Curtis loved to eat out before this. Like we were talking about that last night. About 9 meals a week he would eat out. Health changes that we've experienced as a couple and individually have been better nutrition.
I've lost 20 plus pounds, around 23, and I don't have the anxiety issues I used to have. I'm almost totally off of medication.
I didn't mention that I'm off my medicine as well, which has been very exciting, and it was very expensive medicine. So that definitely makes the program worth it. You may be debating this as a couple, and you may be weighing heavily on one person doing it, thinking that it's not worth the expense. I want to encourage you to do it together, because if you both go through the testing and you're both going through the coaching, you can kind of hold each other's hand and uplift one another when things are maybe not going as you planned or you're having a down day. It just helps to have a partner in the house that knows exactly what you're going through so you can discuss the things that are up or down.
Fran has been a rock throughout my life since I've known her, and knew that she would be in this too. It's kind of like I wanted to do this for her, wound up with all the benefits that I got as well. So I just wanted to be that support person for her because she's been there for me so many times. And it's just been a great journey, and I would highly recommend that you do it for the support.
So having a coach does make all the difference. Sometimes when you're doing something with your partner, you may know the answers or think you know the answers. And you may be talking about that and you're just not using the right language that your partner can hear. So in our second week with our coach, which is Karen, Curtis comes in after his coaching call and he goes, "Oh my gosh, this information, it's all starting to make sense. Did you know that if I don't eat this, it's going to do this for my body?" And it was like, yeah, I've been telling you that for 30 years. That's why you got it so quickly, because you've been hearing it that long. Partnership. And that's what I've really loved about this is it's different from any other kind of doctor, particularly for psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. Other doctors I had been to, it was always about, here's your medicine, see you in 6 months. You go back 6 months later and are you doing any better? Well, not really. Here's a new medicine. Try this. And it was rinse, repeat. And with you, it was a new solution. And it's ongoing because there are all kinds of foods out there to try and experiment with. But now we have a proven method of how to add a food and see if our body can handle it and what to do if it can't. Having those motor skills back without inflammation helps with just simple day-to-day things like if I want to write a list, what I'm going to do for the grocery store. I mean, it's amazing the things you take for granted, you can't use them the way you have in the past. Our future goals are to continue doing what we've learned through the program. And because the program offers a trackable documented way to go about making the changes. I know that if I fall back, I know what to do to get back on the program. And I love that. This is a life belt for us.
Basically, the strength of this is keeping the awareness. My future goals are to maintain this program for the rest of my life.
We're like the people that can't shut up about how great our life is now, thanks to Excel Health.
My health was in a bad place. I felt like I was just getting sicker and sicker. I had began to be very wobbly, and I had to use a cane just to feel confident in walking. And I was taking medications for diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, anxiety, and of course, taking a pill for indigestion. So I just could see myself going further and further down. And I just, in my mind, it's like, okay, now today it's a cane, tomorrow it's going to be a walker and then a wheelchair. And I didn't want that for me. So I thought I got to do something. And I saw Excel Health on Facebook, and it talked about how you could be off of prescription drugs, and heard that, you know, there is a cure for diabetes, because I'd always been told there's no cure, we can just control it. And so when Dr. Raymond told me that there's a cure, I was like, oh man, I need to be in this program. And so I did. And of course, it was a great sacrifice for me to do it. But for my health, I felt like I had to do it. I started the program actually November 8th, and today is the 18th. So basically about 10 days. And so now my blood sugar levels have gone down to like between 80 and 120, even after food. And they've never been that low that I can remember, ever, since I've been diagnosed with diabetes. And I no longer have to take the blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure is always good. My anxiety is gone. I mean, I feel a lot happier. I have a lot more energy. And before, my energy level was just awful. I mean, I couldn't do much around my house. I'd have to just sit down very often. And so now I can walk. I don't even feel like I need a cane, and I can get things done. And it's been about 10 days. My next health goal, of course, is to continue on the program. It's really helped me. I've never been on a diet or program this long and stuck with it without cheating ever, you know. But my next health goal is to get the exercise in, get on a exercise program that'll work for me and make my body stronger that way. I did wonder, is this going to work for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd always heard that we are what we eat. So probably was a little skeptical, but you know, the results I've gotten in such a short time is just so encouraging. I'm very pleased with the program. I'm excited about how far I've come, and more excited about how far I'm going to go with my health and learning to eat healthy and take care of my body. And, you know, I just want to share it with everybody. Because at my age, you know, I know so many people who are going through the same things that I'm going through. And I want to just tell them, you know, it doesn't have to be this way.
Well, my thyroid was really not being managed appropriately at all. I had just decided not to have any more children, and my health had been kind of spiraling out of control. I think post-pandemic, I was coming out of the fog just like everyone else, and really needed to get my food under control. I was eating all around the clock. I was always hungry, but then I also felt like I wasn't eating enough because I was eating enough of the right things. I knew that I was getting older and I needed to take better advantage of the resources available to me in my area to get control of my health and to have a better view of what was going on. I had a family member, my father passed away at 44. I had just turned 44, and mentally I was afraid I wasn't going to get out of and see 45 alive. And I came to Dr. Aman to kind of take control of what was happening with my blood work, with my health, with my food. My hair was falling out. I wasn't sleeping. I was really achy. I used to be a runner. I wanted to get back into that, but I just didn't think it was possible because of the way I felt. And I knew I needed to get help. So far in the last 9 months, I have had a huge transformation in my body. I feel like I've reclaimed control of me, of being a person. I don't have any more brain fog. My hair has been growing back and my skin has changed. I'm able to sleep without waking up in the middle of the night, having these cold sweats. I thought I was going into perimenopause or something because of the way my body was acting at night after I ate terribly. But I've lost 30 pounds in 9 months. My hair is growing back. My joints feel wonderful. I'm running again. I'm working out regularly. And I know what I need to eat to make myself feel good and to make my body run efficiently. And I know the things that I put in my mouth that are going to be bad and make me feel bad. There are many things that my eyes were open to, things that I shouldn't have ever been eating because either I'm allergic or have a sensitivity or that sort of thing. And so I've been able to take control of that and kind of take that power back and live a normal life. My blood work is incredibly improved. It's a 180 over where it was 9 months ago. My blood pressure, not a problem. I was looking at blood work coming into this where I was pre-diabetic. My cholesterol levels, good and bad, were off the charts. My thyroid had just plummeted. It was not regulated like I thought. All of my blood work has completely turned around for the better. So the things that were good are even better, and the things that were bad, all of those markers have now completely decreased and kind of leveled out to a healthy range.
My diabetes numbers were way up. I was like a 9.2. And I did want to go on insulin. And my blood pressure, I've taken so many meds because I had fallen and had a head injury. So I was on so many meds. My goal was to reduce my meds. And that is really my goal, and to get more healthy because I couldn't walk. I had no energy, just totally out of shape. I had a horrible gut. I mean, I had IBS, diverticulitis. Couldn't go anywhere. That was one of my main things. I couldn't go anywhere without knowing where I could stop. I felt like the commercial on TV where the man's got to know where he's got to go before he gets there, because if there's not a restroom that I know of, then if it was long period in between, I did not want to go because I was afraid I'd get sick. And it was also embarrassing. My goal was to get a healthy gut, and that in turn would help my diabetes and help my blood pressure and help my overall health. And it has. I mean, I've cut my blood pressure medicine. I've cut my diabetes medicine. I have more energy than I've had, and I can't even remember when. And I still want to get more, but it is so much better. I'm so happy that I found this program because I couldn't have done it by myself. This way, I had somebody who could help me walk through it. It's so difficult for me to think of doing it and not know where to start. So having someone to help me through it and take care of me, then that cinched it. I had to do it. And I'm so very glad I could. I've noticed that my head is thinking clearer. And after a brain injury, that's a big thing. I think clearer. It's a little bit easier to manage things. I've gone places. I went to Canton. I hadn't been to Canton in years. I didn't even think I could attempt going. But I went to Canton, and I've just done things, and I feel so much better. Main thing is my gut and that makes my whole body, my whole being feel better. I've gone down in size in clothing, and that's been really nice. And I have got off some medication, which was my goal. So I've done more than I thought. I knew I could do it, but I couldn't do it by myself. Could not do it by myself. I want to continue to reduce some of my medication. I'd like to get off my diabetes medication if I can, but reducing all my medication is the major thing. And then getting more energy. My cousin, Mary, she told me about y'all, and she was having good results. So I was impressed, and I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. And I dove in, and it worked.
I mainly was dealing with a lot of gut health issues where I was just always feeling sick. I ate just really didn't agree with me. So it was mainly a gut health issue where I knew I shouldn't be having the problems I was having at my age of 42. My triglycerides were through the roof. My A1C was bad. I had been a pre-diabetic for a long time. It seemed like I was just kind of sustaining that pre-diabetic level and not being able to get away from that, not really going beyond it, but also not being able to do any better than that. So I was on a lot of medications that were, I think, contributing to further discomfort with that gut health. And so that was one of the things I was dealing with as well. You know, my wife is a healthcare provider. She really pushed me hard to come and really take advantage of a program like this. I am a very cynical person. Just in general, I don't really believe a lot of what people tell me in general. I have to kind of see it to believe it. I didn't think this was going to be helpful. I thought this was going to be something that I would do to kind of appease my wife and say, see, this is just something else. That didn't work. And my experience has been really the exact opposite of that. I had to eat a lot of crow with my wife and explain, because she has seen the results. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I've seen my A1C drop a full point to below even pre-diabetic stages. My triglycerides fall. I'm watching my weight fall. I've lost approximately 25 pounds in 3 months, just figuring out a way to kind of make this program work for me no matter what. Incorporating exercise back into my life, having the energy to incorporate exercise back into my life was pretty incredible, especially having 2 small toddlers at home. There's been a lot of things like that I've seen as a result of this program that I didn't expect, that have sold me to, I will be committing myself to this long term and figuring out a way to make these changes a permanent aspect of my life. I've been able to figure out ways that when trying to adhere to the program by the book, the way that it's written to the program was really hard for me. I wanted so hard to be, perfect. I'm going to do this exactly the way it is. But through the coaching and conversations, I've been able to realize that that's kind of not the smartest way to approach it, because perfection is really hard to obtain. And so I've allowed myself to be patient and to take time and eliminating things out of my diet that were hard to eliminate, the sugars that were hard to eliminate, the grains like corn was hard to eliminate, but it wasn't a cold turkey thing. With sugar, it took almost 2 weeks to eliminate everything. Corn took even longer to eliminate that, but once it was gone, I started to see the benefits, and I realized that I don't have to do this all immediately. I was able to figure out alternatives to jumping out and eating junk food. Instead of, if I've missed a meal or something like that, I figured out ways to get something quick that would still adhere to the confines of the diet that worked for me. So once I was able to figure out how to truly intertwine this into my life as it already existed, I do believe it's going to be very easy to maintain this moving forward. I've spoken to a lot of folks about this, and people that I know that have had the same struggles as me. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I wasn't approaching this as a weight loss program. I wasn't approaching this as anything other than trying to get my gut health back. But I've seen so many benefits beyond weight loss, just my skin, the quality, just the help, my skin health has been something I've never seen in my life before. There's been so many things like that. My energy, how I feel just in the morning, even if I get waking up in the middle of the night with my kids. There's so many benefits that I was not expecting. So I would absolutely recommend this program.
I was just in search of how to make my health better, and it goes way back where I was 30 pounds overweight and I felt terrible. I had been on birth control pills, and I stopped taking birth control pills, and I noticed that the weight just started coming off. I thought, well, that was bad for my body, and I need to start treating my body better. I kept thinking, I wish that I had someone to help me, and so I started looking, and I found Dr. Rahman at Excel Health, and now it's just been amazing to fill in all the missing puzzle pieces that I searched online so hard for, and it just kept eluding me. But it's just had a lot of clarity, and it's been just wonderful. So the health benefits so far is I feel lighter, I'm sleeping better. And Dr. Rahman knows what it's called, but it's where you get itchy, flaky patches on your skin, a lot in the hairline and eyebrows, and that's gone for the first time in most of my life. And that's happened just since my detox. I had left that out, but my stomach issues is really what was plaguing me and made me realize that I had to get some help. My stomach issues were anytime I would try to eat something, I would just bloat up and I would just get just a really big belly. Since the beginning of the program and into the detox, my stomach has calmed down so much, and it's just been really wonderful. Mainly the terrible bloating has been gone for about 14 to 20 days now. My future health goals are just to keep going forward with eating like I am now, that I didn't know about until I got into the plan. And looking forward to going through menopause now instead of dreading it so bad. I feel like I'm gonna go through that a lot easier than I ever would have. My favorite parts of the program are the interaction with my health coach, Karen, has been wonderful, and Dr. Raymond, and the support is just wonderful. If I ever have a question, they always answer me back, and the office, the people answering the phone at the office are so sweet and kind. I love filling out the progress reports. You can track how you're doing, and they can track how you're doing, and then we talk about it, and there's just so much support. I've never seen so much support in anything that I've done in my life. It's like having an extension of family. I'm gonna tear up.
Yeah, I got to give you a hug for that.
It's been so worth it. Yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done, because it's been invaluable for me and just has really enriched my life more than I even thought going into it. So I'm really happy with the investment and really happy to be able to share with whoever would like to know that this definitely can brighten your life.
No energy, inflammation, joint pain, chronic sinus infections. Acid reflux was so bad I would be waking up in the middle of the night with the acid coming up and coughing. It just felt horrible. I felt horrible. So I would say that that was sort of the trigger for me to start the program. Like, I knew I needed to make changes, otherwise things were just going to get worse. So in addition to the weight loss, more energy, my inflammation is down, my reflux got better. Before I was taking medication every day for it, don't need to take it anymore. I have made changes in terms of what I eat. I'm more conscious of what I'm putting in my body and how that impacts me. And if I do eat something that is not good for me, I notice right away. I can tell what's going on with my body, so I'm much more attuned to it. And so my joint pains before, sometimes like I get out of bed feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get through this day? I don't have that anymore. Yeah, just incredibly, I mean, it's just night and day how I feel now. So before I was in pre-diabetic range, I'm no longer in there. My liver values were not good, and significant changes with that. There's so many different things. The cholesterol panel is better, especially the bad cholesterol, glucose readings, and my blood sugar is better.
I haven't felt well in general for about 10 years. I had chronic migraines, and when I didn't have a migraine, I had a really bad headache. My stomach would hurt when I would eat, and I didn't have any energy. And so I didn't have any desire to do anything with my kids or go anywhere. Going to the grocery store was exhausting. I'd come home and I'd just drop the bags and they would stay there the rest of the day. And I got tired of not living my life. I just felt like I was barely making it from day to day. I was addicted to sugar because I had to eat about every 45 minutes. I couldn't go anywhere without my food. And it was usually a granola bar or cookie. That was my food. Every 45 to 60 minutes, I would get really shaky and I would feel like I was gonna throw up and pass out. And it obviously was not comfortable. And I knew that eating would make me feel worse, but at the same time, it made me feel better because the shakes and everything would go away. And it was just a vicious cycle that I couldn't get out of. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was diabetic, that kind of the worst case scenario. I just never felt well and always felt like I depended on the wrong kind of food. I just started my 3rd month and I've already lost 20 pounds, which was exciting. My wedding ring fits for the first time in 3 years. I have a ton of energy. I can go to the grocery store, I come home, I unload, and then I move on to my next project on my list, which I haven't had a project list in years. So that's very exciting. I haven't had a migraine since I started the program. I got a couple headaches, but they're normal people headaches. They go away in a couple hours. I can eat and not hurt afterwards. And I'm so much happier. I have time, the energy to do things with my kids and actually participate in my life now. My husband thinks I'm the person that he married 20 years ago. It's like, I haven't seen you in a while, and I missed you. And I'm much happier. And my kids have obviously noticed that I'm happier and I'm doing things with them and engaged. Overall, everybody's happy that I'm happy and I'm doing things with them again. I'm making sure that my kids don't feel the way that I did. And so we eat vegetables with dinner. My oldest is 16, my youngest is 9. My goal is by the time my 16-year-old goes to college that they all love vegetables with their dinner and that they understand the things they eat and the way they treat their body have a huge impact on their lives and their health. It has been worth it because being able to have this quality of life is priceless. I would definitely encourage it for anyone who wants to have their quality of life back.
Hello, everybody. The reason why I came to Dr. Rahman and Excel Health is it was basically hormones, initial menopause, and just very down on myself, kind of body shaming, just very low energy, just wasn't really feeling who I was. I needed help with that. I needed to figure out how to get back to where I am literally right now. I went plant-based back in 2017 and just trying to be healthy again after a knee injury in 2016. Just my workout activity lowered. So just trying to get back into that groove, into that pace again, maintain my weight, hopefully lose, but mostly just control my cholesterol, triglycerides, my heart health, to keep it healthy. I was struggling to have to do things that I needed to do. It wasn't that I couldn't do them. It was just mentally, it was just a little challenge. And now it's just, okay, let's do this without a hesitation, nothing. Like I told Dr. Rahman earlier, my husband told me to chill out the other day. So it's working. Less inflammation. My clothes are fitting a lot more comfortable. Again, I feel good about my body and just no more of that mental fog, depression, or questioning or doubting myself. At first, it was a little bit of a shock, I'm going to be honest. But yes, I don't think I can or will or have ever put a price on a health. It's either you do something right now or later on, it's going to be twice as hard, twice as much, or maybe even more, or it's just you don't reach the opportunity to do something about your health because you're at a dead end. So yes, it was worth it. In fact, I've mentioned what I'm doing, to a couple of friends, and it's just the kind of hesitation, or it's like, yeah, okay, really? You've always been kind of healthy. How's it going to help me? But, I'm not going to stop mentioning it or recommending. It's really up to you as to how far it is you want to take care of yourself. Because taking care of yourself means you're able to take care of everybody else in your life. I think the woman is the pinnacle of the household. I got to get back into my physical condition again. As I mentioned, 9 hours of yoga a week. I'm barely doing half an hour right now. So that's my goal. That's my struggle. Probably not 9 hours a week, but just to force myself literally to do it. I have to be accountable for that. And I can't keep saying what I used to do. I need to start showing up what I can do right now. The coaching classes with Karen, the health coach, just having that little bit accountability and, somebody to guide you and to let you know, yes, you're on the right track, or no, let's do this, let's do that. I didn't reach out as often as I probably could have, but it comes from a background that I know about nutrition and exercise. So sometimes I didn't feel I needed to reach out, but Karen was there to tell me and kind of get me back in that lane and go, okay, no, we need to go do this or do that. So it was a good reminder. But for somebody that's not very knowledgeable about nutrition or diet, or is a little bit confused as to what's out there, that is a great help, great guidance, to have that feedback and be able to reach your coach, because it also sometimes ends up being a life coach. And it's also somebody who's biased. It's not your husband, not your daughter, not your mother telling you, or friends, oh, you're doing great. Oh, it's okay. Have that one dessert. It's okay.
Yeah.
Here, they're biased and they're kind of letting you know it's okay, but let's get back on track.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing. I'm just happy I did it. And I want to, continue to get better at where I'm at.